Thank you, General. At the outset, I thank the Club of Rome for this unique opportunity in giving me the mic to speak on something which is actually engaging the minds and also hearts of the people who truly believe that sustainable development is actually the way forward for the future. And some of these solutions you have already seen, especially the way the glaciers have been, the creation of artificial glaciers, a great nature-based solution, I should say, that we have witnessed. And I also like to say that the whole concept of sustainable development, which is linked to providing food security, livelihood security, and meeting the challenges of development, both economic and social. Also to address the issue of climate change and disaster resilience. These are issues of great importance and they're somewhat interlinked in nature. I will therefore say that we'll have to look at two things. What are the possibilities and opportunities and what are the threats? Some of which has actually been very well demonstrated since the morning. I am now constrained to say one or two things because of what has happened in the recent past here in this conference as well as in the state of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. I would say that it's a great strategic timing for this conference because we have now a new horizon and we have sort of tried to remove the inhibitions and hurdles to possible interventions from the rest of the country into Jammu and Kashmir. This was also stated by Sheetal Nanda, who said that one of the problems of development in Jammu and Kashmir has been that all the experts and all the solutions were somewhat inclusive and limited in nature. I am also constrained to say that we should understand what JK is all about. What do you understand by Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh? If you really ask me, it's actually a conglomerate. It's not a homogeneous thing. It's a conglomerate of different cultures, different landscapes, different temperatures, great distances. But on the whole, I would say that my experience in Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh has been that the people are intelligent, beautiful land, beautiful country, and I must compliment the bureaucracy, both security and development bureaucracy, who has done a tremendous job in the face of challenges over the years. Now, how do we go about it? We've been talking, one of the problems that we have in this country, especially as administrators, and that's why I always believe that there should be, in the old Platonic adage, either philosophers must become kings or kings must become philosophers. Either that, government must completely abandon the governance issue and become a facilitator. And the investor must also take responsibility for governance. There's no actually alternative to a synergic approach to find solutions in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. And I'm saying this because what needs to be done and what is J&K today is that it's not just a question of understanding, it's a question of trying to do it on the ground. And that's what matters. You see, the nature-based solutions, we had it not now. We found that in the Green Revolution, in the 60s and 70s. But then we also failed. It reached its plateau. We're back to square one there. We stopped analyzing, we stopped innovation, we stopped thinking. Today, J&K has a forest cover of 20.23 lakh hectares. 20% of geographical area, one of the best in the country. Out of which about, let's convert it in terms of kilometers, it's 20,230 square kilometers as well. And out of which very dense is 4140, moderate is 8760, and open forest is 9639. And that's what matters, open forest. Do you want to degrade it further, or would you like to? That's where the stress is. So what would you like to do there? Similarly, if you take the roads, already the amount of roads is 37,000 kilometers, out of which national highway is about 2,000, and now it will probably become 3,500. So we have a situation where heavy engineering, as you were saying, is destroying civilizations, is also happening there in a way. And today it was nicely brought out by one of the speakers earlier that what is really required in Jammu and Kashmir is three important things: handicrafts, handlooms, tourism. That's it, done. Add horticulture, horticulture and floriculture. One of the unexplored areas is actually floriculture. And it's linked to apiculture, honey. There is, Nazir Ahmed is not there today, but he would have told you, he's an expert. The survey reveals that if you grow certain kind of flowers all along the forest areas, certain regions, district-wise, you attract not only better quality honey in that region, the bees, but also I am told the overall productivity of the region increases by 20%. And this is scientific, it's part of the university literature. So the other point is that today the forest laws, they actually prevent access and development. They have to be refocused, as somebody said. How do you engage floriculture in areas which are inaccessible? How do you engage traditional medicine investment in areas which are again highly regulated and inaccessible? So how do you categorize them? So you must have a policy that suits each particular sub-region and subsector. And that is where I think governance is failing, because we try to think one size fits all, one policy fits all is the solution. That's more for convenience. But actually, we need, and the time has come, we got to think deeply to achieve sustainable development. We really need micro-planning. And unless you do micro-planning on an integrated matter with experts, with scientists, with university, with administrators, with local body representatives, you will not really know what is to be done, what is already there, and how you can value add to it. Let's, for example, take the case of Kashmir. What is Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir economy all about? On a back of the envelope figure, I would say it's about 12,000 crores of apple, 7,000 crores of handicrafts, handlooms, 3,000 crores of fruits, vegetables, and other dry fruits and other stuff. It's about 23,000 crores of economy. I'm not talking about ecotourism, I'm not talking about anything else. But what could it be? According to the University of Kashmir, if you look at the high intensity or the new kind of plantation that can be done on apple, it's not 12,000, it's actually 45,000. Productivity can be increased in the same amount of land. Not an inch needs to be extended. But this needs micro-planning. This needs a lot of financial intermediation. This needs a lot of capacity building. And it needs a lot of stock material. And I'm not saying only it's just an example, but it is there in almost, if you want to look at the sea buckthorn, or if you look at some other crops that are actually genetic to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh regions, you'll have to really look at this aspect of how do you value add. Secondly, the kind of infrastructure, it's very crucial. A stitch in time saves 9. They say that an appropriate intervention in South Kashmir will not only get you local investors, but it will get you the right kind of investment. Do we have low-cost cold storage? Is there an invention? Is there technology that will enable that? You will find that if you link it with some of the government schemes, so the rural development or other departments, you can have 10,000 cold storages of small quantities, which will preserve the life of the apple by 3 months. So it will take care of uncertainties. Otherwise, as somebody said, Dr. Karan Singh said, please compensate the laws. I mean, that's the situation we have to address. And it's not a difficult situation. That's what I said, philosophers become kings and kings must become philosophers. So you'll have to look at it a little more deeply. And that's where I think experts, governments, everybody is failing to converge. What is required in Udhampur, Doda, Kishtwar, Rajouri, Poonch is absolutely different from what is required in Kupwara, in Baramulla and in Anantnag districts, or even in Leh, Ladakh. What is required in Nubra Valley, what is required in Padam, what is required in Dras is absolutely different. It's different North Pole, South Pole. It's not just different the habits of the people, the culture of the people, or what they call tehzeeb. So I think that we've got to rethink, refocus, realign our sustainable development strategy. It's very simple. All you have to do is to value add, make the value chain accessible to the market centers. And this is possible. It's not impossible considering the kind of communication systems that you hold today. Many people will be surprised, but it's a truism. Today the wireless connection in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh is 12 million, 12.5 million. Internet itself is 5 million. And it's increasing. Communication is there. It's just that the last mile somewhere there's a missing gap. So please identify missing gaps. Bring the convergence. Have micro-planning. Get in the experts. Get in committed administrators. Don't transfer them in a year or so. And see the change. Thank you very much.